Have you ever felt like your mind is just noisy? Like there's a constant stream of thoughts and worries and to-do lists that you just can't seem to turn off? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. We hear about meditation all the time, right? But for a lot of us, it can seem kind of mysterious or maybe even impossible to start. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and give you a simple, practical guide to finding that inner calm. Let's dive in.
The great yogi Paramhansa Yogananda just hit the nail on the head here. He called all that mental chatter mental static. It's the perfect description, right? It's that background noise that just blocks us from hearing our own intuition, that quiet voice inside. And really, the whole goal of meditation is just to gently turn down the volume on that static. And this is a huge shift in how we think about it. Instead of seeing meditation as some kind of difficult spiritual homework, think of it as something incredibly natural. It's not about forcing your mind to be empty. It's more about returning to a state of stillness that's actually already inside you, just buried under all that noise. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cut through the buzz and define what meditation really is. Then, we'll walk through the practical first steps to get you started. We'll learn a core breathing technique you can use literally today. Then we'll peek at the science behind why this stuff actually works. And finally, we'll talk about how to make it a real part of your life. Okay, first step. Let's get past all the hype and just look at what meditation is at its core. I promise you, it's not about levitating or achieving some mythical state of enlightenment on your first try. It is a simple, straightforward process.
You can really boil the entire journey down to these 3 stages. First, relaxation. You just relax the body and mind. Second, interiorization. You turn your focus inward, away from the outside world. Think of it like you're gently closing the door on all the external distractions, just to pay attention to what's happening inside. And third, expansion. From that quiet, focused place, you start to experience an expansion of your own awareness. See? Simple. Relax, go inward, and expand.
So how do we actually begin that process? Well, it all starts with the body. Before we can even hope to quiet the mind, we gotta quiet our physical selves. I mean, think about it. If your body is all tense and restless, it's sending these constant, hey, move, fidget, signals to your brain, which makes trying to concentrate pretty much impossible. A little prep work goes a very long way. Okay, so here's a super simple but really powerful way to get set up. First, find a quiet place where you won't be bugged. Sit upright, could be in a chair, could be on a cushion. Just make sure your spine is straight. This lets your skeleton do the work, not your muscles. Now, here's a fantastic trick to release tension fast. Take a deep breath in and tense your entire body. Clench your fists, your jaw, everything. Hold it till you feel a little vibration. Then with a big exhale, just let it all go. Do that a couple of times. Finally, just mentally scan your body, from your toes all the way up to your face, and consciously tell each part to relax. All right, now for the heart of the practice, we're going to learn a technique called Hong Sa. It's an ancient, simple, and incredibly effective way to use your own breath to calm that mental static we've been talking about. Now, to get why focusing on the breath works so well, it helps to know this one little concept, prana. In yogic philosophy, prana is basically the life force energy that's in everything. But you don't have to get all mystical about it. We all know our breath and our energy are connected, right? When you're anxious, your breath gets all short and choppy. When you're calm, it's deep and slow. So the breath is like the most direct handle we have on our own energy. You calm your breath, you calm your energy, and guess what? You calm your mind. And here is just how simple this technique is. Once you're sitting comfortably, just start watching your natural breath. Don't try to change a thing. As you feel the air come in, silently think the word Hong. As you feel the air go out, silently think Sa. That's it. That's the whole technique. Now, your mind will wander off to your grocery list, to some conversation you had. That is totally okay. It's what minds do. When you notice it's happened, just gently, with zero judgment, bring your focus right back to the breath and the silent sound of Hong Sa. This is the absolute key. This is the most important rule. Your job is not to be the manager of your breath. You're not the boss of it. You're just the witness. Just watch it come in, watch it go out. By simply observing it without interfering, you allow your breath and your mind to naturally become calm and still, all on their own. So we've covered the how, but why bother? Well, beyond all the ancient wisdom, modern science is now jumping in and actually verifying what yogis have known for centuries. The benefits are real, and they are measurable. And we're not just talking about vague feelings of feeling better. No, These are measurable physiological changes. As you can see here, scientific studies have documented a whole host of benefits. We're talking about major stress reduction, lower blood pressure, sometimes on par with prescription drugs, and even a stronger immune system. These are concrete, physical things happening inside your body.
So the physical benefits are pretty amazing, but the impact on mental health is where things get truly profound. Just think about this. One study looked at people dealing with chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. Learning to meditate led to a 50% reduction in their overall psychiatric symptoms. A 50% drop. That is a massive, life-changing shift in well-being, all from a simple daily practice that costs absolutely nothing.
You know, that kind of inner resilience, the kind talked about in ancient texts like the Bhagavad Gita, isn't just a nice theory. It was put to the ultimate test. The source material for this explainer describes a massive fire back in 1976 that destroyed almost every single home at Ananda Village, a community founded on these exact teachings. And in the face of what should have been a completely devastating tragedy, the residents, who all practiced daily meditation, remained calm, centered, and even happy. They showed this incredible inner strength.
Okay, so where does that leave us? We've learned what meditation is, how to get ready for it, a core technique you can use, and all the reasons why it's so incredibly beneficial. Now, it's really just about making it a part of your life.
So it really just boils down to this choice, right? On one side, you have the default state for so many of us, that mental static, that restlessness, the anxiety. But on the other side, with just a little bit of practice, there's the potential for real inner stillness, for mental clarity, and a deep sense of calm that can actually stay with you, even when life gets totally chaotic.
You know, we often think we need to make these huge, dramatic changes to transform our lives. But what if the most profound journey you could ever take, the one inward, doesn't start with some giant leap? What if it begins with something you're already doing right this second? What if your first step is just quietly observing a single breath?